Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian in Arlington, Virginia, where we're covering the 29th Annual Surface Navy Association's annual conference and trade show. Full disclosure, our coverage is sponsored by Raytheon, and we have with us Mark Rios, who's the marketing manager for Atlas North America. Sir, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We're going around to interesting companies here and talking to them a little bit about what's new that you guys are showing over here at Surface Navy. Obviously, you guys are leaders in unmanned underwater vehicles, but as well as underwater sonar. What are some of the things you're highlighting here at the show?
Well, first off is showing our great experience in mine neutralization with the Seacat mine neutralizer, which is used by all three warfare communities in the Navy, air, surface, and the EOD community, as well as 10 different allied navies. And we're looking at how to put the Seacat neutralizer on unmanned surface vessels. That way we get the man out of the minefield and also increase our rate of clearing mine danger areas. That's one of our big efforts.
Obviously, price point's very important because all these vehicles are expendable, but that one is particularly expendable. What are some of the challenges in making sure you can drive that price down to the point where for something as sophisticated it is a thoroughly expendable commodity item?
Well, one is by buying in larger lots, because we think ultimately if we do go to a mine warfare conflict, we're going to be using a lot of mine neutralizers, and they take quite a while to build up. So it would be better to buy more in advance, so you have them on the shelves ready to go. We're looking at other ways in an upcoming new design for the Navy of making a smaller, lighter, less expensive neutralizer that'll be more autonomous, and this is something that will be happening in the next probably 2 to 3 years.
You mentioned getting this capability on unmanned surface craft. I mean, that's something that is important to the Navy, again, to get the people out of the danger zone with something that still remains a remarkably dangerous weapon for the Navy. What are some of the challenges of operating a vehicle like this from an unmanned surface craft? Normally you've got sentient people who have a lot of dexterity to be able to figure out how to get something like this back aboard. How are you working that with an unmanned surface craft?
Well, you're exactly right. It is challenging because when you have people on a craft or even people on the ship, if something goes wrong, they can make a minor adjustment, make a minor correction, and then get the system back in operation. You don't have that capability on an unmanned vessel, so reliability has to be extremely good. You got to have a really high, R value, and so you have to keep things simple. And then also, it is unlike just a reconnaissance vehicle or a search vehicle, it is a weapon. So having control over your weapon and all those safety rules that go with that is very important. That's why it's another area that we need to work hard on good control through autonomy and through using smart systems.
And basically an automated bosun mate is basically what you're doing.
Yes, which is not easy.
Exactly. I wonder what rating he would carry. No, it's just a joke. One of the things you guys also specialize on is small sonars. Your sonar goes in the Rios vehicle, for example, and you guys have been trying to push the state of the art in taking something that was already remarkably tiny and making it even tinier.
Well, ultimately, we see that UUVs will get smaller and smaller because the electronics, etc., are also getting smaller. We also want to make sure that our sonars use as little power as possible. That way there's more power available for the vehicle. So you increase endurance time. So instead of being an 8-hour mission, perhaps we can get 10 or 12 hours of mission. That's more area searched and more mission accomplishment. So our company has the capability and proven to be able to use less electricity for our sonars, but also make our sonars more compact so that they fit better inside the UUV. So ultimately, we can be placed on smaller UUVs and more versatile. So not just for one manufacturer of UUVs, but to be able to be installed in many different manufacturers' UUVs.
You guys also have, for all the smaller vehicles, for example, like Seacat, but you also have something that's in the 3+ meter class, which is the Seacat, which has a removable head to the system. Talk to us a little bit about that capability. What's the requirement and what market you're shooting for?
So about a year ago, I would have told you that we don't make UUVs, we make sonars that go in UUVs. But we are the American subsidiary of a German defense company, and our headquarters company has designed what they call as the Seacat UUV. And it is a medium-sized UUV, about 3 to 3.5 meters long, and one of the keys designs of the vehicle, there's two. One is that it has a head that you can take off, so that you can change out the head. We call it swap head technology. So you could change out different sensor packages very easy. So instead of having to buy 2 or 3 UUVs that would each have their sensors hard mounted, you could instead you only need to buy one UUV and swap out the heads. We think this makes it very versatile. The other thing the UUV does is it can also have an umbilical cable to be used like a remotely operated vehicle. So if perhaps your mission is to search around a pier and pier pilings where you need very fine control, you're not patrolling a large area, that's something that no other UUV can do right now. And this is new to the U.S. market, and we're hoping that we can make inroads here.
Last question. Well, the big thing for everybody is endurance. What are some of the things, you talked about taking, for example, sonar systems consume quite a bit of power.
Yes.
Ultimately, and that's a driver. What are some of the things you guys are doing to get to those ranges, the degree of autonomy that the Navy is looking at?
We have been working on different types of battery powered, using more interesting designs in battery so that we could have longer endurance times, perhaps batteries that hold their charge longer or that use the seawater as an element to powering the battery. We also work hard at, as I said, getting our sonars not only using less power, but also our sonars are lighter and more compact, so that then the UUV manufacturer can have more space for the batteries. So those are 2 ways that we try to work with our partners on how to increase mission time.
Mark, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.